Okay, welcome to Jimmy Does Coasters. Today we're walking through every single roller coaster I've ridden ranked. There's a lot of them, maybe not much compared to the normal coaster enthusiast, but I think I'll only do this once because there are a lot of arbitrary things. So I've separated things into 5 different tiers, ranking by 1, kind of inconsequential, like a little kiddie coaster that I wouldn't rate. 2, maybe I didn't enjoy my experience too much on that ride. 3, it was a good ride. You know, I'd ride it. And that's either, it would have been an awesome ride, but because I had a bad experience, it's a 3. Or it's a decent ride that was a little better than I expected. 4, hey, that's a great roller coaster. So you might have a calmer ride that surprised me in a good way, or just a normal roller coaster that I look forward to riding. And 5, obviously, are my standout roller coasters, best of the best, and there are about 15 of those. So we're gonna get started. Now, when I'm ranking roller coasters, there's a lot of stuff that could change. There are a lot of different ways to rate something, so give or take 15 spots, and I'd say that's pretty accurate. Now, there's a lot of ways that we can talk about these roller coasters, but just know, take everything with a grain of salt, because the way I feel about these could be the same or different tomorrow. Just know that the ones near the top, I put them there for a reason, and the ones near the bottom, I put them there for a reason, but it doesn't mean they are always better in my mind, one or the other, than the other roller coasters. So we're gonna go numbers 77 through 71. These are all just kiddie coasters, so I'm just gonna blast through them and not say much about them. The Gadget Go coaster at Disneyland in Toontown, it's now been rebranded as Chip 'n Dale's Gadget Coaster. And the Freeway coaster at Adventure City, another little kiddie coaster. Timberline Twister at Knott's Berry Farm. Speedy Gonzales Hot Rod Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is a pretty fun one. Goliath Jr. at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is now called Magic Flyer, except it's now closed and getting ready to be taken out of the park. This one has a soft spot in my heart because I think this was the first roller coaster I ever rode at Six Flags. I was 8 years old and barely tall enough to ride Goliath, so I rode Goliath Jr. and then my mom said, let's go ride Goliath. And they were very, very different. Okay, Canyon Blaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Roadrunner Express at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Those are the kiddie coasters. I'm just putting them on here to add to the list. That's numbers 77 through 70. Number 2, these are the 2-tier ones, the ones that I didn't enjoy that much. There's only one on this list, and it's Runaway Mountain at Six Flags over Texas. Now, I think it looks like a cool ride. Once I ride it again, I'm sure I'll say, that's a nice, fun ride. But you go into basically a closed room, like Space Mountain sort of thing, and you ride a little kiddie coaster. Except the problem is it's not dark enough to be a dark ride. The light coming through the hallway lets you barely see things, so it kind of just feels a little janky. The funny thing is when I rode it with my brother, who was a little kid at the time, we rode Runaway Mountain, and I think he was fairly disappointed. And we came back into the station, and the ride operator said, "Hey everyone, did you enjoy your ride?" And he yelled, Anyway, I'm sure it's a fun ride. I think I just need to ride it again because it, at the time, did not seem like a really full immersive experience. Okay, the 3-tier coasters. I'm starting at number 69. This is Goofy's Flight School. It's a Wild Mouse type coaster. It's a fun ride, but nothing really special about it. Number 68 is Treetop Racers at Adventure City, which is a little park near Knott's Berry Farm. Treetop Racers is no longer operating, but it is kind of like a Wild Mouse coaster, except you're sitting in logs. It was actually a pretty fun ride. I like that one quite a bit. It's too bad it's not there anymore. I just rode that one as a kid. Number 67 is Bat at Lagoon. This is a family suspended coaster. It kind of just does nothing for me. It's a very simple layout. I feel like I remember waiting for it, and it was a relaxing ride, but I don't think you ride roller coasters to be relaxed all the time. Bombora 66 at Lagoon. This is another family coaster. It's a fun, smooth family coaster, but just doesn't really have anything special about it. 65 Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm. This is another Wild Mouse coaster in the boardwalk area of Knott's Berry Farm, and I have heard people give this one a lot of hate. I thought this was a fun ride. It was, it's just a Wild Mouse coaster, but there's nothing special about it for me, so that's why it's so low, but I also don't hate on it as much as other people do. At number 64, we have Boomerang at Knott's Berry Farm. Boomerang is also no longer at Knott's Berry Farm. It's your typical shuttle roller coaster with the Boomerang layout, and I think that's why I put it so far down. I actually loved that one as a kid, but there are so many clones of the Boomerang coaster that doesn't feel like that much special. Although I will say riding this one in the rain definitely hurts. Number 63 is Pony Express at Knott's Berry Farm. This is a straddle coaster, and I hated this one as a kid because the way they have you get on the coaster coaster is you straddle the horses that you're riding, and then something comes and pushes you in from the back. I think they fixed it recently, but it would push your lungs in as a kid. You could hardly breathe. It was really uncomfortable. The ride's nice, but I don't think it really lives up to Knott's Berry Farm's standard of excelling with something. It launches and it goes up and down in a figure 8 layout and it's back. It just seems like there's a lot more they could have done. They wanted to throw a cheap ride in there to get something new. At number 62, we have Scream at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now, this is a standard twister, floorless roller coaster. It's a pretty great ride if you take it on its own. But if you look at it in comparison to Six Flags Magic Mountain, it doesn't add anything unique to the park. So it's a fun ride, but I have it so low because you have all the same kinds of inversions through Riddler's Revenge, except Riddler's Revenge lets you stand up and it's taller. Riddler's Revenge is in a themed part of the park. Scream is in the parking lot. Scream is really loud and not as comfortable, I think. You know, I try to ride everything when I go to Six Flags Magic Mountain, but Scream is one of the rides that I don't feel like I need to ride in order to get my fill at the end of the day. Number 61 is Manta at SeaWorld San Diego. It's been a while since I've ridden this one. I think I remember people being excited about it and it was fun, but it wasn't memorable enough for me to really remember anything about it, so that's why it's number 61. Number 60 is Colossus Fire Dragon. This is a veteran of a roller coaster, one of the first looping roller coasters in the area. It's kind of like Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas. It's a rough ride, but I love it. I love that drop and the loop. I think even though rides like that are older, you feel the years that it has and it makes it a little more exciting, but right now it's sitting at number 60 because that's all it does for me. Number 59 is Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas. This is an iconic one at Six Flags Over Texas featuring the double loop. It's not a crazy roller coaster, but you really feel those G's in the loops. It's a fun ride. I would ride it every time I go, but it's not a must ride for me other than the history behind it. Number 58, this is Kong at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. It's another inverted roller coaster that has 2 seats per row. I've heard a lot of people hate on this ride for how it rides and it's so rough and everything. But honestly, when I rode it, I had a pretty good time. I thought I had a great ride. It wasn't anything crazy, nothing that I would travel the world to go ride, but it was fun. So Kong is sitting at 58. 57 is Iron Dragon at Cedar Point. This is a swinging suspended roller coaster at Cedar Point, and it's kind of like Ninja at Six Flags Magic Mountain, with which I'm more familiar. It was a fun ride. Nothing too crazy memorable about it, but I enjoyed the experience quite a bit. Corkscrew at Cedar Point. This is a rough ride. It's kind of like Viper at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Corkscrew is just a rough ride that people ride it more for the history of it than for the smoothness of it. It's one of those rides that I think people aren't in any rush to ride, but if they take it out of Cedar Point, I think there would be a lot of people really upset. Number 55 is Green Lantern at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Before you get too mad at me, I know this is a hot take. A lot of people hated Green Lantern. I think that's the reason it was removed from Six Flags. It's no longer there. They almost installed it at La Ronde in Quebec, the Six Flags park there, but they ended up not installing it because of COVID and other complications. But it was a really unpopular ride and had a lot of downtime. This is a ride with no left or right turns, only vertical movements while you spin. There are a lot more models that are more refined and a little more modern and user-friendly. I know a lot of people didn't like this Green Lantern model because it just hurt. For me though, I loved it. I loved the thrill of getting thrown over the edge and not being able to see the track. It was a roller coaster that unlocked a new kind of fear for me. I'd put it at number 55 right now, but I think this is one of the rides that gets more hate than it deserves. Number 54 is Jaguar, Knott's Berry Farm. So Jaguar is a roller coaster without a lot of kick to it, but what I love about it is it's a family coaster that goes above the park. It takes you above and around Fiesta Village and through the loop of the iconic Montezuma's Revenge. And I love a park that is taken kind of like a tour of the park, so that's why I rated Jaguar higher. If it were on the ground, I'd probably rate it a lot lower. Number 53 is Ninja at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is another inverted swinging coaster. I love that they started you higher in elevation so you could use that entire hill to swing down around the hill and over the lake. I wish it would utilize the ability to swing out hard over the turns a little more, but I really love this ride. It's a good family ride. I'm not a big fan of the shoulder restraints. I think they could have a better restraint system, but it's a great ride. Number 52, this might be hard to believe, but it's Gold Rusher at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now, Gold Rusher is a family roller coaster that starts kind of up on the hillside and takes you all the way up the hill under Superman and down the other side of the hill and back around. I really love this roller coaster. It's clanky, it's old, and it's janky, but I just love the thrills of being on a ride that's a little faster than you think it should be for being a kid coaster, and they have a pretty strong helix at the end. And what can I say? I'm a sucker for rides that take you places, and Gold Rusher does that. Number 51, this is a ride no longer in operation. This is Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Colossus used to be a traditional racing wooden roller coaster. It followed roughly the same layout as Twisted Colossus, except there were 2 loading stations, so so you only went around the track once, except the track itself would circle around, I think, twice. Colossus is a classic. I loved riding that one when I was younger. My cousin called it the backbreaker because it hurt his back so much. So it wasn't the smoothest ride, but it sure was a thrill. And when Colossus came out, it really was the Colossus coaster to people. It was the biggest ride around and everyone had to ride it. Now it's been living in the shadow of other coasters, so its glow up through Twisted Colossus has been one of the greatest things that's happened to Six Flags. Number 50 is Jetstar 2 at Lagoon. This ride unfortunately was just closed down last year because it was getting old and they wanted to make room for some newer attractions. Jetstar is your classic spiral roller coaster, and this one freaked me out. It is janky, but it takes you so fast around those turns, and because the cars are so old, you really don't know if you're going to fly off that track or not. And I think as long as a roller coaster is secure but makes you think it's not, that's a new level of fear that I don't know if I'll ever get over. That ride freaked me out, but it was so fun. Number 49 and 48 I'll do together because these are the Pandemonium copies at Six Flags Over Texas and Six Flags Fiesta Texas. It was always a little odd to me that they had copies at two parks that were neighbors. But this is your classic family spinning roller coaster, like a spinning wild mouse coaster that's a little more intense. It's actually a really fun ride. I don't really even remember riding it because it didn't do much for me, but these are fun rides. I love how you can rewrite them over and over and over again, and it's always a different experience because of spinning. I think rewritability is a huge factor in a good roller coaster for a park. Number 47, this is Goliath at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This is the really cool looking roller coaster that you see as you walk into the park. It's one of the many Batman clones that you'll find in the Six Flags chain. Now it's been rebranded as Chupacabra. I think it's cool that they leaned in more to the Fiesta Texas theme to make it more of a unique park, but because it's the same clone as all the other Batmans, it's not too special for me. I'll have to see when I ride it next time if I like this more than the one at my home park, Six Flags Magic Mountain. And number 46 is also Batman the Ride at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Like I said, this is the same as the Chupacabra ride. This one is just so intense. I love when it whips you around, you go on those helixes and loops, you just feel the blood in your feet. Your face is pale because all the blood shot straight to your feet. It's such a short ride, it doesn't look that exciting from the outside, but it is sure intense. These are the Tier 4 rides. These are the rides that I would say are great rides that if you were in town, I would recommend that you ride the ride. First up at 45 is Wild Mouse at Lagoon. I know this may be a shock to some people, but this is one of the roller coasters that has freaked me out the most because I thought something would go wrong and I'd fall off and die. I don't know if that should be a good thing, but I will say as you hit those turns and you hear the ride rattling beneath you, I was not thinking about how fun it was, I was thinking about how I would brace myself if I fell to the ground. And believe it or not, that made it a more exciting ride. So if someone were in town, I would recommend they ride Wild Mouse so they can have a wild ride. Next up at 44, we have Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. Gatekeeper is one of the first wing coasters that came out. It's a nice roller coaster, and I think at the time was really cool to look at. It didn't do much for me because I had ridden X2, which is kind of like a wing coaster that rotates. So Gatekeeper is like X2, except less extreme and more predictable. So it's a fun ride, but I wouldn't rate it as high as other people might. Next up at 43, we have Raptor at Cedar Point. This is a really fun inverted coaster, kind of similar to Silver Bullet, but I'd say more extreme, and similar to Batman, but a little bit taller and longer. Overall, an enjoyable experience. Number 42 is Mantis at Cedar Point. This is now known as Rougarou. I think a lot of people actually don't like Rougarou. I haven't ridden it for about a decade, so maybe when I go back and ride it, I'll rate it lower. But from what I remember, it was a really fun ride. It's very similar to Scream at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and maybe I just rode it with a better attitude, so that's why I'm rating this one a lot higher than Scream. Next up at 41, we have Primordial at Lagoon. Primordial is a very unique ride. I kind of had a hard time ranking this because what it offers as a roller coaster isn't much, but what it offers as an experience is awesome. You take Toy Story Mania, some kind of dark shooter ride at Disneyland or something, and you mix it with the roller coaster. That's what Primordial is. They built a mountain for you to go inside of. I thought they did a really good job taking you in and around the mountain, and they have a lot of surprises in there, including an elevator type drop or a steep backwards drop. I've only ridden it once, but I love what they put into this ride and the theme. Number 40 and 39 I'll do together. This is Sierra Sidewinder at Knott's Berry Farm and the Spider at Lagoon. This is like Pandemonium. It's like a wild mouse spinning coaster, except these come in trains. I was really impressed. They look like really small kind of kiddie coasters, but when you get on them, they have super steep bank turns. The spinning is crazy. Super fun experience that a family can enjoy together that I think you'll honestly get a lot more thrill out of it than you would expect. Number 38 is Viper at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Like I said, this one kind of reminds me of Corkscrew at Cedar Point. This is one of the first corkscrew roller coasters. At the time it came out, it was the biggest coaster out there. It had 7 inversions. It was awesome. Now it's pretty rough and one of the least popular rides at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I don't think that people hate it though. I think people just avoid riding it because it hurts their head. It's one of those ones that has so much history and legacy tied to it that it'd be hard to get rid of it. I like to ride it every time because it is quite an awesome drop. It's a very intense ride. As long as you know how to hold your head to not get a headache, it's an awesome ride. I wish they could do something about those restraints, fix the cars so you don't have those annoying shoulder restraints. But until then, it's sitting at 38. Number 37 is Riddler's Revenge at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Riddler's Revenge, I would not recommend riding when you're like 11 years old. This is the first standing roller coaster I've ever ridden. So they let you adjust your individual restraint up or down so you can be standing freely on the platform. Now, as an 11-year-old kid, if you're not light enough to push those restraints down with your body weight, what happens is your feet are dangling, and that hurts because these trains were not meant to be sat on. But I really like the idea of being able to stand as you ride the roller coaster. This is a big ride, it's a rough ride, but it's a classic. Number 36, this is Roller Coaster at Lagoon. This is a wooden roller coaster. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it's a super old wooden roller coaster. I think the oldest coaster in Utah. I think that adds so much fun to it. It's an old classic roller coaster that I'd recommend riding. Because it's so old, you're riding part of history, and I think it makes every drop a little more scary knowing how many years and how many rides this roller coaster has been through. Number 35 is White Lightning at Fun Spot Orlando. This might be a little biased, but when I was in Florida for a trip, we stopped over at Fun Spot Orlando and rode one ride, and that was White Lightning. I didn't have high expectations for it because it looked like some small roller coaster, but it's actually a lot of fun. White Lightning really does go fast like White Lightning, and while it's small, I think a wooden roller coaster that is small can still be tons of fun, and White Lightning proves that. Number 34, Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld San Diego. This is one of the first water coasters out there. I rode this one as a kid, and I remember the idea of floating in the water and then getting in an elevator with the screen around you that just showed a bunch of fish and then dropping off the top on a roller coaster track. It was just mind-blowing. It was awesome. I really love that ride. It's a very unique experience. Now I think people don't give it too much love, but for me, I have it ranked so high because of what it was to me and kind of how groundbreaking it was, honestly. Number 34 is Deja Vu at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This one is no longer operating there, and I think a lot of people give this one a lot of hate. This is actually now called Goliath. It's been relocated, I think, to Six Flags over Georgia, but I loved this ride. This is like your typical boomerang shuttle coaster, except you're inverted, and it's a completely vertical chain lift. That was one of the most bizarre feelings and one of the coolest feelings at the same time. I was so sad when they got rid of Deja Vu. I don't understand why they got rid of it. I think it added a lot to the park, but in my heart, even though people hate on it, this will always be a classic. Number 32, this is Titan at Six Flags over Texas. I don't have a lot to say about this one. This is kind of like the clone of Goliath at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I honestly rode it and thought I didn't like it as much as Goliath, but for what it's worth, it's still a big, fast ride and a really fun one. Number 31 is Medusa at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. This one has on and off been argued to be the best floorless roller coaster out there. It's a really fun layout. When I rode it, it was pretty rough, but I'm excited to ride it again. They just repainted it. I think it's supposed to ride a little smoother, but Medusa is a classic in the area. Number 30, Wicked Twister at Cedar Point. This is an inverted launched shuttle coaster. This is really fun. I know there's probably lots of clones out there, but this is the only one I've ever ridden, so that's why I have this one ranked up at 30. It's a really fun experience being launched and twisting vertically. I imagine as I ride more of these clones, it'll fall lower on my list because it won't be so unique, but as for now, it's still a unique experience to me. Number 29 is Montezuma's Revenge at Knott's Berry Farm. This is a classic roller coaster. It's really simple. It's a shuttle launch coaster. You just go out, do a loop, go up, come backwards to the loop, and up and back, and you're done. It's actually been closed down for the last few years while they're redoing it, and their plan is actually pretty cool. They're retheming the entire station to tell a story, and one thing they're adding is a forward and backward launch. So while it's the same track, the riders won't know if they're going to launch forward or backwards, so it actually comes with an element of surprise, which I think is a genius move on their part. Number 28 is Silver Bullet at Knott's Berry Farm. This is an inverted coaster that I don't think gets enough love. It's a beautiful paint job, beautiful theming, beautiful layout. People just say it's not intense enough. I love how this ride makes you feel like you're floating at so many times. I gotta say, if you don't ride in the front row, it's not the same experience. You gotta ride in the front because being in the back, you can't see anything or experience anything. Silver Bullet is always a classic to me. In the front row, I love the floater time, and that helix at the end just makes you feel like your shoes are going to fly off into the lake below you. Number 27 is Revolution at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I think I like this roller coaster more than most people do. Like I said about Gold Rusher, I love roller coasters that take you places. This is the first looping roller coaster, I think, in California, and it takes you up and around the mountain. And I love how you're just kind of getting lost in the woods as you prepare for that loop. People say it's too rough, people say it's too janky, people say it's too fast, people say it's not fast enough. For me, it's perfect. I love this ride. and it's the ride that helps you kind of take a deep breath, enjoy the scenery, but still get a thrill out of it. It's actually been rebranded as the New Revolution, and they had you do this weird thing with VR goggles and you were in a jet. I thought that was a dumb idea, and then they rebranded it again as a Classic Revolution. This wasn't open the last few times I went. I'm hoping they're not going to get rid of it. I know it's an old roller coaster and they might want to use that space for a bigger thing, but I think this is a part of park history. Number 26 is Wicked at Lagoon. This ride didn't pack as much of a punch as I hoped it would, but I think there's really something unique about the vertical launch. I don't know if there's another roller coaster of this type out there that launches you vertically the way this one does. If you were in town, I'd recommend you go ride Wicked just to experience that launch. Everything that comes after, you could take it or leave it, but that first vertical launch and vertical drop is an experience hard to find somewhere else. Number 25 is Superman Ultimate Flight at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Now, when this came out, I was super excited about it. This is a multiple launch coaster. At the time since, clones of this have been built at many different parks around the United States and the world, but for me riding it, it was a one-of-a-kind roller coaster, a really unique one, and I really love it. I'm sure as I ride other roller coasters like this will fall lower in my rankings, but just like Wicked Twister at Cedar Point, this is a unique experience to me when I rode it years ago, and that's why it's rated so high. Number 24, Wonder Woman Flight of Courage at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is one of the first single rail roller coasters. I wasn't too excited about it at first because I don't like the single rider layout. I think it's more fun when you ride roller coasters with people, you experience it, you scream together, you can interact with each other. But I gotta say that having only single riders gives them a lot of room to really whip you around. I've heard this isn't the best model out there, but this is the only one I've ridden, and it really is a fun roller coaster. Especially if you're in the back, you get whipped over that first drop and get tons of airtime. It's a really fast-paced ride, and I love it. Number 23 is Apocalypse at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now this one is an awesome classic Woody. The downsides are it's really short, and from what I've seen, the loading takes way too long and makes for a terrible experience because by the time you get on the ride, you're upset that it took you so long to get on the ride. But setting aside the waiting experience and just the ride experience, the reason this ride is so fast is because it doesn't hit the brakes once. From the moment you drop, you're whipping around every turn, and this is an intense roller coaster. I really love Apocalypse, and I try to ride it every time I go to Six Flags, but the wait time is just so long and the loading is so inefficient that a lot of times I do other things. Next three, believe it or not, come from Disneyland. Number 22 is Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland. This is a really fun ride. It's a kiddie coaster, but it's fast-paced the whole time. It launches you downhill, it launches you uphill, and taking you in and out of the caves of the mountain. This is a really awesome roller coaster people don't think about because it's in Disneyland for kids, but I really love this ride, and the theming just adds more to it. Number 21 is Space Mountain at Disneyland. Now, this one used to be ranked lower just in my mind, but I recently rode it with my wife, and it knocked our socks off. It's funny because ahead of time, I looked at the speed of Space Mountain and its layout with lights on, and it looks like such a boring roller coaster. But the way they have you inside of that dome and it's dark with stars around and there's wind blowing in your face, it makes it feel 10 times faster than it is, and it feels like a really extreme ride. So I really love that roller coaster, honestly. Space Mountain does what I wish Runaway Mountain at Six Flags Over Texas would do, but Runaway Mountain kind of felt like a lazy attempt at a Space Mountain. Number 20 is the Matterhorn bobsleds at Disneyland. I love how, again, they take you up and inside the mountain, you pick up some good speed, you splash through water, you see a Yeti. I love how this one just takes you fast-paced through so much theming. I think it's a great combination of thrill and experience altogether. Number 19 is West Coast Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain. While West Coast Racers isn't the best roller coaster around, West Coast Racers does what Twisted Colossus cannot. You race every single time. And I think the fact that West Coast Racers adds so much to it. If this was a standalone ride, it would still be a great ride, but it's so much more because you get to talk trash on the people next to you. I love the high five turn and the inversions over each other and the second launch. It's a really fun roller coaster made for families. I don't know how I feel about the whole Pimp My Ride theming, but I think this type of roller coaster is exactly the kind of roller coaster that Six Flags needed. A fun roller coaster that families could ride together and hopefully bring back a lot of those crowds that they've been losing. Number 18, La Vibora Bobsled, Six Flags Over Texas. I know there are a lot of YouTube videos out there talking about how this ride is the worst ride there ever was. All I can say is I rode it and I loved it. It's the only bobsled coaster I've been on, and it was a great time. I wish I could ride it again, but it's not there anymore. I love bobsled roller coasters, and I think it's that element of a little bit less certainty that makes it all the more exciting. Number 17, this is Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas. This is no longer operating because it's been retracked and it has now been turned into the new Texas Giant. This is an awesome ride. They had a big banner when I was in line online, keeping a tally of how many cell phones were lost. This is an iconic ride. I honestly kind of still wish it was just a normal wooden roller coaster because it was so iconic that way, but I understand it was the first retracking ever done and it needed to be done for Texas Giant to continue operating. But this is a really fun beast of a ride and I'm excited to ride the new one. Number 16 is California Screamin' at California Adventure. This has since been redone and rebranded as the Incredicoaster, but this is really an amazing coaster that people don't talk about that much. It has a powerful launch, launches you through a loop, has a lot of great airtime, and the way they have you go up and down those hills through those tunnels makes it feel a lot bigger and a lot more exciting than it really is. And I think Disneyland does a really great job of that. They take something that would be a simple roller coaster on its own, and with music and with theming, they make it seem like an even better experience, which it was. It's a really fun ride, and I'm excited to ride it as an Incredicoaster. These are the 5-tier roller coasters that are standout, one-of-a-kind coasters that I highly recommend to you. Number 15 is Goliath at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I know people say this one has a little bit more bark than his bite, but I love this ride. That first drop is incredible. I love just the suspenseful chain lift taking you all the way up, the underground tunnel at the bottom. It's all a huge thrill. And this one's special to me because this is the first big roller coaster I've ever ridden. I rode this one when I was 7 or 8 years old, and at that time they had tiny lap bars and I was so scared it was gonna fall out. It's a really awesome standout ride and you black out almost every time as you go through the helixes at the end. Number 14 is Roadrunner Express at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. I know this might make a lot of you mad, but this is a roller coaster that I rode and I got off and said, that had no business being as fun as it was. This is a ride that delivers way more than you expect from it, and at nighttime it was really fun. I haven't ridden it for a long time, but funny enough, I rode this at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Now, out of the rides that I rode, this is the one that I remember. Albeit Poltergeist was closed, so was Superman that day and the Rattler. But this is just an awesome ride that I think is way more fun than anyone expects it to, and I love a roller coaster with a good surprise like that. I don't think it'll stay in my top 15, but I think it deserves some credit for giving me a good surprise and a great time. Number 13 is Magnum XL 200 at Cedar Point. This is the first roller coaster ever that was over 200 feet tall. So this is more of an icon than anything, but it's a really fun roller coaster. It's a violent roller coaster, very intense, but I love the roller coasters that are a little older because you can really feel it. Number 12 is Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm. I actually love this ride a lot. I know people say Hang Time is the most underwhelming ride like this out there. I love the vertical lift hill. It's a terrifying feeling being on the front row. Up the vertical lift hill, you feel like you're going to slide backwards out of your seat, and then when you pause over the beyond vertical drop, you feel like you're going to fall forward out of your seat. It's a really fun ride. You get some fun airtime on it. Hang Time is special to me. Maybe as I ride more of these types of roller coasters, there will be another one that takes its place, but for now, Hang Time is king. Next up, we have number 11, which is Cannibal at Lagoon. Cannibal is very similar to Hang Time, except instead of a vertical lift hill, you have an elevator lift hill. The first drop on Cannibal is steeper than Hang Time. It is taller and faster. It's super aggressive. I love Cannibal. It's a very fun ride. It's a great addition to Lagoon. I think it was this coaster that leveled up Lagoon from being a family park with a few fun rides to a park with some great rides. Okay, now we've entered our top 10. Number 10 is Superman Escape from Krypton at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This ride is unfortunately no longer operating. They had it closed for several years. They finally gave the word this year that it's never going to operate again. That makes me super sad. Superman is a one-of-a-kind ride. It launches you backwards or forwards 100 miles an hour out of a tower, and you go up to 415 feet tall and back down. It's kind of like a simplified version of Top Thrill Dragster, except you get to go up and down the same hill, forward and backwards. It's a very, very fun coaster. I'm sad it's gone, but if they're going to have it closed for 5 years, it's about time they actually use that hill for something other than just Ninja. Number 9, Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. This one is technically also not operating because they've redone it as Top Thrill 2, which I think is even better than the first one, but I haven't ridden it. Top Thrill Dragster is an awesome ride. It blew my socks off. I had ridden Accelerator several times previous to riding Top Thrill Dragster, and it was crazy to me to ride something that was faster than Accelerator and taller than Accelerator, almost twice the height of Accelerator. Being on the top of that tower was just the craziest feeling. I had never been so high up in my life. Number 8 is Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm. Accelerator is like Top Thrill Dragster, except a little slower and about half the height. But Accelerator has the craziest launch. You launch right out of the station, super powerful and super aggressive, and that launch is something that you'll walk out of the ride talking about. Number 7 is at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is Full Throttle. I don't think this roller coaster gets enough love. I love it. I love the powerful 74-mile-an-hour launch up the 160-foot loop. I love the hang time at the top of the loop. It takes you so slow over it, you feel like you're going to fall out of your seat. It's just awesome. They also have a top hat that is double-sided, so they took the top of the track and made it a double-sided track, which I think is really genius. The one downside about this roller coaster is because the last drop comes down the loop, you have to hit the brakes really hard in order to stop in time to go through the station without crashing through it, and that makes for a really aggressive brake drop. I wish they would have turned that into the second to last drop or something so that way you don't have to hit the brakes so hard. One thing I also love about Full Throttle, how it stops you in the tunnel, and if you're a first-time rider, you think, okay, here we go, we're going to launch launch and go on top of the loop, and then it launches you backwards first and then forward. I know there are a lot of multi-launch coasters out there now, but at the time this was awesome. It was groundbreaking and it was a big surprise to me. I love taking people on it who ride it for the first time and have no idea what to expect. Number 6, Tatsu at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I know there are a lot of flying coasters like these that are out there, the Superman rides at other Six Flags parks, but I think this one is super special. I love the lift hill. It starts you off in the middle of the foresty mountain and you overlook the rapids, and it's just a huge look off, and you kind of weave above the trees as if you're flying through it. Other flying rides that I've seen kind of just take you around in the ground in a knot. This one really takes you above the trees like you're gliding, and you feel like you're flying the whole time, and that pretzel loop at the end is crazy. Super fun ride. I love how smooth it is. The only downside of this one is if you get back to your station platform and they're not ready for you, you stay there completely horizontal, hanging for like a minute or two. So if the people in charge of loading the stations are doing a bad job, your awesome ride ends with you just hanging, waiting for them to take you into the station. Number 5 is Fury 325 at Carowinds. This is what people say is the best Giga coaster in the world. I'm not ranking this higher because I don't think I really appreciated it enough the time that I rode it. We were on a layover and I said, hey, we're in Charlotte. Let's go over to Carowinds. I've never been. So I ran into Carowinds, bought a pass, and we only had about 30 minutes to an hour in the park. I sprinted to Fury 325, rode it by myself because my wife was pregnant. Then we just did a little scenic loop around the park and then went back to the airport. Because I was in such a rush and I ran on the ride, it was a really awesome ride, but I don't think I really got to take time to take it in. After was when I found out, wow, this is a pretty incredible ride. It's one of the best Giga coasters in the world. I didn't know people loved it so much, and I rode it really enjoying all of it, but because there was so much on my head and I was in such a rush, I want to re-ride this one more time because the speed and the airtime and the drop are phenomenal, and I just want to take it all in. Number 4, Millennium Force at Cedar Point. I know you might be mad this is above Fury 325, but my experience on Millennium Force was absolutely mind-blowing. This is the first Giga coaster I had ever ridden on in my life. The drop was phenomenal. It was just such a beautiful and smooth layout. This was about a decade ago. So maybe when I rewrite them, they'll change orders, but for now, that's where they stand. Number 3, Maverick at Cedar Point. This is a really unique multi-launch coaster, and I know there are a lot more roller coasters like this out now, but at the time that I rode it, I think it was one of the first of its kinds. Looking at it, it doesn't seem like such a powerful roller coaster. Even watching the POV, it looks cool, but nothing crazy, but it really whips you through every element. The second launch is powerful. The banks are just super aggressive. I don't know how to explain it, but you gotta ride Maverick. The intensity of it, the thrill of it, it just feels like a complete ride experience. Number 2, my favorite classic Woody, Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm. This is a parking lot coaster, so you don't expect much of it, but the layout is just awesome. You get tons of airtime going up and over the hills, but what I love about it is you're just flying through every element. You go through and do an out and back routine once, and you kind of hit a slight brake hill and then do the whole thing low to the ground a second time, and it just gets better. I love how the ride just gets more fun the more it goes on. When you don't have height, you have intensity and speed low to the ground. You're flying through every turn, you're laughing, you're screaming. It's awesome. Go ride Ghost Rider and you know what I'm talking about. The downside is the loading isn't the best at Ghost Rider. They are notorious for having a kind of long loading time, but I just love how the coaster is broken up into 2 parts. The sort of brake run halfway through kind of gives you time to collect yourself, laugh about it, talk about it, and then you just launch down that hill and it's all over again. I'm glad they're putting effort and investment in a Ghost Rider to retrack it and everything. This is an awesome coaster. You gotta ride. Number 1 is Polarizing, but this is X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is probably the craziest ride you will ever ride. This is a wing coaster, but it's a 4-dimensional wing coaster. So as you're riding through the ride, the seats are rotating, so you don't really know what to expect. You go up the chain lift backwards, and then you go down a vertical drop, and right as you start going down the vertical drop, your seats rotate so you're facing exactly straight down with no track below you. It's a bizarre experience, and the spinning, I'm laughing the entire time. Yes, this is a prototype that put the company that built it out of business, and yes, the rides are a little finicky, and yes, your thighs might hurt by the end if they smack too hard on the trains, but it is a crazy roller coaster, and as long as I'm healthy enough to ride it, I'll ride it because this is one of a kind. It's insane. It just puts you through it. This ride is a workout. Okay, surprise number 0, Twisted Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is, I think, my favorite ride of all time. On one condition, that you race. I think when Colossus caught fire and Six Flags decided to retrack it as a hybrid coaster with RMC, that was one of the coolest things that happened to Six Flags Magic Mountain. They turned an iconic coaster into a legendary coaster. And racing is one of the coolest feelings with that long long floating barrel roll over you. You're looking up at the train above you. It's just amazing. That first drop is insane, and it launches you over the edge and almost out of your seat. The high five turn on the green track that is just such a bizarre feeling. It's an awesome ride. It's really, really fun riding it by yourself, but if you don't race, that takes away about half the experience. I've been really frustrated because it seems like a lot of times the workers at Six Flags don't have any urgency there, and I think they're deleting a crucial part of the park experience for people. But Twisted Colossus racing is one of the best experiences you can ever have on a roller coaster. I don't know what you can do to guarantee that you race it. Maybe just ride it enough times and hope someone sharp is operating the ride. But Twisted Colossus is a social ride, it's a thrilling ride, it's a fast ride, and out of all the 78 rides that I've ridden to this day, this is the ride that I would ride over and over and over again without hesitation. So there you have it. There are all the roller coasters that I've ever ridden ranked. I know you probably disagree with me on a lot of stuff. I'd love to hear what you think, so if you disagree, go to the comments and tell me why. I'm at 77 coasters. I want to see if I can hit 100 by the end of the year. Thanks for hanging with Jimmy Does Coasters.